and Unser is trying for the lead at this moment as they go into turn one, and it looks like he's going to get it. He won the first two races of the series. He finished third in the third one, and he'd like to wrap it up as a champion, obviously, and win this race. Side by side, though, with Mario Andretti right now, sensational racing. Gordy Johncock in there in the yellow car. Oh, look out! An incident, and that's Al Unser off the track. The man who's leading the series is off the racetrack. That gives Richard Petty a chance to win it. I hope he's all right. Up over that bank, he appears to be all right. He's moving. There you see Al Unser unstrapping himself. Oh, and Petty was also involved in it. But now Unser is getting out of his car. There is Al. Looks to be okay. No limping. No sign of any injuries that we can see as he unloosens his helmet. Look at this, though. Johnny Rutherford was also involved in the crash. The hood back up over his windshield there as the rescue crews approach his car. Holy smokes. Unser just fine. Petty has not gotten out of his car. Rutherford appears to be all right. Here's what happened with those cars trailing with Rutherford and Petty. They got together, Petty backwards, but Rutherford suddenly looking at the underside of the hood of his car. Terrifying situation.
It seems that he's had heavy contact also with Richard Petty in the back end of Richard Petty's car, because his car seems to be badly damaged as the cars slide down at very high speed down that back stretch there, this 3,000-foot back stretch. Richard Petty was pinned in the car, so the damage done to the rear end of the car must have either affected the seat belts or the frame, the safety frame that's built into those cars. And believe me, that's very strong, but of course remember the speed of the impact.
Yes, and Jackie, there are Unser and Rutherford still talking over the situation, but Richard Petty is still in his car. No official word on what's wrong with him. He may be pinned in the automobile. He might have been knocked out, but you'll notice that the two race drivers, although concerned about it, I'm sure, are letting the other experts do their job right now. In other words, the safety and rescue people. Well, let's see how this affects the race. Now, 3 cars appear to have been eliminated all at once. However, of those 3, Unser was in front on the previous lap. That would mean, if this is the way it turns out, and Cale Yarborough would win the race, that Unser would be placed 7th, would get those 6 points, and there would have to be a 5-lap runoff for the championship. Whew. It's to Chris Economaki.
Mary, you were over there when Al had his problems. What set it up? Well, I guess he tried to get in line right behind me, and he nudged my quarter panel and spun him around. So he didn't do enough to bother me, but he just made a slight miscalculation there, and then, he just started going, one end to the other.
Jackie, let's see if we can see what happened here. That's Al Unser on the inside, on the right of the first row as we look at it.
Well, it looks like that Al Unser, the car suddenly got very unstable, whether it was hit from behind or whether something went wrong with the motor car mechanically, but look what happens there. Then he comes into contact with the car on the left-hand side of your screen.
That's Andretti.
And what happens there is that Al Unser's applied opposite lock. He's sliding now. He's going across. He's just missed by another car. Remember, this surface here is very wet. There's been an enormous amount of rain here at Daytona. Look at it skirmishing across there. Al Unser looking where he's going, trying to find a direction for his car, and it hits that sandbank. It goes up into the air. I've never seen a car do that. It's heading towards the lake now, and the car grinds to a stop before it reaches the water. I have never seen a car at Daytona Speedway ever get that high. What an enormous impact. Al Unser was extremely lucky. Only again, the tremendous safety, the seat belts, and everything else helped him out.
Well, Gordy, how close were you to what happened, and can you describe it to us?
Well, Chris, I was right at where it started. Mario was leading it, Al was running second, and I was third, and I was behind Mario, and Al come up too close to the wall. I guess he probably couldn't see me and didn't know I was there. Same incident like we had at Michigan, and he come up next to the wall, and I was in there and couldn't get out, and he just, his back end clipped my left front and started him going.
Well, now, there's the ambulance and Richard Petty being loaded into it. Again, the word is he is conscious on the backstretch. There's no sign of apparent injuries. However, he'll be taken immediately to the track hospital there. Rutherford and Unser also climbing in. It's obligatory that all these people in the crash at least go to be checked over. Al Unser's car is obviously through for the day. Should there be that 5-lap runoff, they'd have to get him another automobile, and of course there are standby cars. Again to Chris.
Sir, how close were you to the skirmish, Darrell?
I was right behind Richard, I guess it was. Al Unser was running down low on the outside, and Al had done just about wrecked everybody that he got alongside of. Come off the corner back there and got into Richard, and they went to wreck him, and I just shot between them. Was lucky.
I tell you, you know, this is the International Race of Champions, and these guys are supposed to be professionals, but this reminds me a lot of a half-mile race.
Some sharp comments there from Darrell Waltrip down in the pits with Chrissy Kanamaki. Well, here is Petty's car being taken away. In the side, as you can see, it was hit right in the driver's door there, the rear portion of the driver's door, really. Okay, Chris has more, I think.
Hey, Cale, when you made your stop to change the tire, you took on 4 tires. If you'd taken on 1, you might not have lost a lap. Why did you go for all 4?
Well, really, we shouldn't have lost a lap with all 4. You know, it shouldn't take that long to change 4 tires. But out there in all the wind and all the traffic, I couldn't tell exactly.
It would be a $50,000 tire change.
Very well could be. And then on the other hand, I could be over yonder on the backstretch. You never know.
What's the strategy now when the race starts?
Well, the only thing I can do, Chris, is try to get out front again and hope for another caution flag to make that lap up.
It's going to be all an uphill battle for Cale Yarborough from now on, but it just could still happen. It could happen for Cale here today. He's disappointed, as you can see, but let's look again at that crash. It's Al Unser on the right of your screen on the first row. There he is, touching Mario Andretti, sliding down to the infield. John Cock just getting by him in that yellow car, as you saw, then hitting this sandbank. If he had not hit that sandbank, if it wasn't there, he obviously would have gone into the infield lake. That happened here years ago. A driver was down there for about a minute before he finally hopped to the surface. However, it didn't happen this time. Now, the third car involved in the crash, Johnny Rutherford, still hidden under the hood, which slid all the way back over the windshield. What a wild afternoon at Daytona.